Sometimes the biggest thing standing between you and the life you want isn't a lack of opportunity. It isn't a lack of talent. It isn't even a lack of time. Sometimes it's the voice inside your own head. The voice that tells you you're not ready, you're not good enough, you'll probably fail. People are going to judge you. What if it doesn't work? What if you embarrass yourself? What if you lose everything? What if you're making the wrong decision? And if you listen to that voice long enough, something dangerous happens. You stop questioning it. You stop believing it. You start treating your fears like facts. That's when negative thinking becomes a prison. Not because every negative thought is true, but because you keep giving those thoughts authority over your life. So today, you need to make a decision. You are going to stop allowing every thought that enters your mind to control your behavior. You are going to learn how to challenge it, replace it, and move anyway. Because you cannot always control the first thought that appears in your mind. But you can control whether you invite it to stay. Think about how often your mind predicts a disaster that never happens. You send someone a message. They don't respond for a few hours. Your mind immediately creates a story. They're angry with me. I must have done something wrong. They don't respect me. They don't want to talk to me anymore. But hours later, you discover they were simply busy. Nothing happened. The problem wasn't reality. The problem was the story your mind created around reality. That's how negative thinking works. It takes uncertainty and turns it into certainty. It takes one mistake and turns it into an identity. It takes one rejection and turns it into a prediction about your entire future. You fail once. Your mind says, see, you can't do this. You get rejected. Your mind says, nobody will ever choose you. You have a bad day. Your mind says, your life is falling apart. One person criticizes you. Your mind says, everyone thinks you're a failure. Stop. Look at what is happening. A single event is being turned into an entire story. And you are believing the story as if it were evidence. That's what you need to change. You don't have to believe every thought simply because it sounds convincing. Your mind can be wrong. Your fear can be wrong. Your assumptions can be wrong. Your first reaction can be wrong. And that's okay. You are not your thoughts. You are the person who can observe them. That's a powerful difference. A thought can say, I can't. And you can answer, maybe I can. A thought can say, this will never work. You can answer, I don't know that yet. A thought can say, I'm behind. You can answer, I'm moving at my own pace. A thought can say, everyone is better than me. You can answer, I don't know everyone's struggle, and comparison isn't helping me. You don't have to replace every negative thought with some unrealistic positive fantasy. You don't need to stand in front of a mirror and tell yourself you're the greatest person alive. That's not the point. The point is to become accurate. If you're struggling, admit you're struggling. If you made a mistake, admit it. If you need to improve, improve. But don't turn a temporary problem into a permanent identity. Say, I'm struggling right now. Not, I'm a failure. Say, I made a mistake. Not, I ruined everything. Say, this is difficult. Not, I can't handle anything. There is a huge difference. One statement describes a situation, the other attacks who you are. And the words you repeatedly use with yourself matter, because eventually you start living according to the story you repeat. If you constantly tell yourself you're lazy, you start behaving like someone who expects themselves to be lazy. If you constantly tell yourself you're incapable, you stop attempting difficult things. If you constantly tell yourself people don't like you, you become nervous around people. If you constantly tell yourself you're going to fail, you may sabotage your own effort before failure even has a chance to happen. Your thoughts influence your behavior. Your behavior creates your habits. Your habits influence your results. So if you want different results, you have to become more careful about the thoughts you repeatedly entertain. This doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. Life isn't perfect. You will have bad days. You will experience disappointment. You will lose people. You will fail. You will make mistakes. You will sometimes feel afraid. The goal isn't to eliminate every negative emotion. That's impossible. The goal is to stop negative thinking from becoming your permanent operating system. There is a difference between feeling fear and building your entire life around fear. There is a difference between having a bad day and deciding your whole life is bad. There is a difference between being cautious and constantly expecting disaster. You need to learn that difference, because sometimes your mind is trying to protect you. It remembers what hurt you before. It tries to predict what could go wrong. It tells you to stay comfortable. Don't try. Don't risk it. Don't trust anyone. Don't speak. Don't apply. Don't start. Don't fail. It sounds protective, but a life built entirely around avoiding pain becomes a life where you also avoid possibility. You can't become stronger without doing difficult things. You can't build confidence without giving yourself opportunities to prove what you're capable of. You can't discover what you're good at if you're too afraid to be bad at something first. And you cannot build a new life while constantly protecting yourself from every possibility of failure. So when your mind says, don't do it, you might fail, ask yourself, what happens if I never try? That's a much more important question, because failure hurts, but regret can stay with you much longer. Think about all the things you haven't done because you assumed you wouldn't succeed. The application you never submitted, the business idea you never started, the conversation you never had, the skill you never learned, the opportunity you never pursued. Not because someone stopped you, but because your own thinking convinced you to stay where you were. You don't need to live like that anymore. You can be afraid and still move. You can doubt yourself and still begin. You can feel uncertain and still take the next step. Courage isn't the absence of negative thoughts. Courage is refusing to let those thoughts make every decision. And you need to become very careful about what you consume, because your mind is constantly being fed something. News, social media, videos, conversations, comments, people's opinions. If you spend hours every day consuming anger, fear, comparison, outrage, and negativity, don't be surprised when your mind starts feeling heavy. You cannot fill your mind with negativity all day and expect peace to appear automatically at night. Pay attention to what you're allowing into your mental environment. You don't have to disconnect from the world. You don't have to ignore reality, but you can become selective. You can unfollow accounts that constantly make you compare yourself. You can stop watching content that leaves you angry for hours. You can spend less time arguing with strangers online. You can protect the first hour of your morning from unnecessary noise. You can choose conversations that make you think instead of conversations that make you miserable. Your environment matters, and your digital environment is part of your environment. If you wake up and immediately consume hundreds of opinions before you've even had time to think your own thoughts, you're giving the world control of your mental state before your day has even started. Take your mind back. Wake up, breathe, think, move, plan. Read something useful. Go outside. Do something that puts you back in control. And here's another habit that can change everything. Stop arguing with imaginary people. You know what I mean. You're lying in bed. Someone said something to you 3 years ago. Suddenly you're replaying the conversation. You imagine what you should have said. You create the perfect response. You imagine their reaction. Then you get angry all over again. The conversation ended years ago, but you're still having it in your head. Why? Because your mind doesn't always know the difference between solving a problem and rehearsing it. Sometimes thinking feels productive, but it's just repetition. Ask yourself, can I do anything about this right now? If yes, do it. If no, release it. You cannot rewrite the past by replaying it for another 3 hours. Learn the lesson, then leave the scene. You don't have to keep punishing yourself for something that already happened. Maybe you made a bad decision. Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Maybe you wasted time. Maybe you said something you regret. Take responsibility. Apologize if necessary. Fix what you can. Learn what you need to learn. Then stop turning your mistake into a life sentence. You are allowed to outgrow your past. You are allowed to become someone different. You are allowed to make better decisions because you learned from the decisions you made before. Don't let the worst thing you've ever done become the only thing you believe about yourself. You are still becoming, and that means your story isn't finished. So the next time a negative thought appears, don't panic. Don't fight it desperately. Don't become angry with yourself for having it. Just notice it. That's a thought. Then question it. Is it true? What evidence do I have? Am I assuming something? Am I exaggerating? Would I speak to someone I love this way? What is actually within my control? Those questions create distance between you and the thought. And that distance gives you choice. That's what you need, choice. You don't need a perfect mind. You need a mind you can lead. Because your mind is going to produce thoughts. Some will be useful. Some will be nonsense. Some will be fear. Some will be wisdom. Some will be old conditioning. Some will be imagination. Your job is to decide which ones deserve your attention. Not every thought gets a seat at the table. And once you understand that, you become harder to control. Not only by other people, by yourself. You stop sabotaging opportunities before they begin. You stop assuming rejection before you've even asked. You stop calling yourself incapable before you've practiced. You stop treating uncertainty like danger. You stop turning one bad moment into a terrible life. You start thinking differently. And when you think differently, you act differently. And when you act differently, your life begins to change. So today, don't try to become a person who never thinks negatively. Become the person who doesn't automatically believe negative thoughts. That's stronger. That's realistic. That's sustainable. Your mind may whisper, you're not ready. You answer, I'll learn. It may say, what if I fail? You answer, then I'll learn from it. It may say, what if people judge me? You answer, they're allowed to have opinions. It may say, what if I don't succeed? You answer, I'll keep improving. It may say, you already wasted too much time. You answer, then I won't waste today. Now that's how you fight negative thinking, not with magic, with awareness, with better questions, with better habits, with better inputs, with action, and with repetition. Because the mind you've trained for years won't change because of one motivational speech. You have to train it every morning, every afternoon, every night, one thought at a time. And that's where the real transformation begins. And that's where the real transformation begins. One thought at a time, one reaction at a time, one decision at a time. Because you don't defeat negative thinking by waiting for your mind to become quiet. You defeat it by becoming stronger than the thoughts that try to control you. There will be mornings when you wake up and immediately feel like something is wrong. You may not even know why. You just feel heavy, unmotivated, doubtful, irritated. And on those mornings, you have to remember something important. A feeling is not always a fact. You can feel like you're failing without actually failing. You can feel behind without actually being behind. You can feel like nobody cares without knowing what other people are thinking. You can feel like you can't handle something and still handle it. Your emotions are real, but they aren't always accurate instructions. That's why you need to learn how to observe your emotions instead of automatically obeying them. If you're angry, don't immediately send the message. If you're afraid, don't automatically quit. If you're insecure, don't immediately seek validation. If you're discouraged, don't make permanent decisions. Give yourself time. Let the emotion pass through you. Then decide what actually needs to be done. That's maturity. You don't need to become emotionless. You need to become emotionally intelligent. And one of the biggest forms of negative thinking is comparison. You look at someone else's life, and suddenly your own life feels small. You see someone traveling, someone buying a house, someone starting a business, someone getting married, someone becoming successful, someone looking confident, someone achieving something you wanted, and your mind immediately says, I'm behind. Stop. You are looking at someone's visible moment and comparing it to your invisible struggle. You don't know what it took to get there. You don't know what they sacrificed. You don't know what they struggle with privately. You don't know what their life looks like when the camera is off. And more importantly, their progress does not cancel yours. Someone else's success isn't evidence of your failure. There is room for more than one person to win. So instead of asking, why am I not where they are? Ask, what can I learn from them? That's a better question. Turn comparison into education. If someone has a skill you admire, study it. If someone has discipline you want, learn from their habits. If someone built something you want, study how they built it. Don't sit there feeling inferior. Become curious. Your mind can use the same information to create jealousy or inspiration. You decide what story you attach to it, and stop comparing your beginning to someone's middle. You may be looking at someone who has spent 10 years building what you're just starting. Give yourself time. You cannot plant a seed today and become angry tomorrow because it isn't a tree. Growth has a process. You have one too. Another thing that feeds negative thinking is perfectionism. You think you have to do everything perfectly, so you don't start. You wait until you're ready. You wait until you have the right equipment, the right plan, the right confidence, the right knowledge, the right circumstances. And months pass. Nothing happens. Why? Because perfection became an excuse for inaction. You don't need to be perfect. You need to begin. Your first attempt may be embarrassing. Good. Your first video may not be great. Make it anyway. Your first business idea may fail. Learn. Your first workout may feel terrible. Go again. Your first public speech may be awkward. Practice. Your first book may be difficult to understand. Now keep reading. You don't become good before you begin. You become good because you begin. Allow yourself to be a beginner. There is no shame in being bad at something you haven't learned yet. The shame would be refusing to learn because you are afraid of looking inexperienced. And here's something else you need to kill. The habit of predicting failure before you have evidence. You say, this won't work. How do you know? I'll probably fail. Maybe. But maybe you won't. They won't accept me. You don't know that. They're going to laugh. Maybe someone will. Maybe they won't. You'll never become successful. That's not a fact. That's a prediction. And predictions are not reality. Stop treating guesses like evidence. Your mind is designed to predict danger. That's useful when you're trying to survive. But in everyday life, that system can become excessive. A difficult conversation becomes a catastrophe. A job interview becomes a disaster. A new opportunity becomes a threat. A mistake becomes proof that everything is falling apart. You have to bring yourself back to reality. Ask, what is actually happening right now? What? Not what might happen. Not what happened 5 years ago. What is happening right now? Maybe right now you're sitting in your room, you're safe. You have a decision to make. You can take one step. That's it. Stay in the present. Negative thinking loves the future because the future contains endless possibilities. Your mind can create 1,000 disasters that haven't happened. Bring it back. What can you control today? Your effort. your habits, your attitude, your preparation, your response, your choices. Focus there. You can't control tomorrow, but you can influence it by what you do today. And if your mind constantly says, I'll start tomorrow, challenge it. Why tomorrow? Why not today? Not everything has to be dramatic. You don't need to completely transform your life in one day. Make one better decision. Drink the water, take the walk, read 10 pages, clean your room, finish the assignment, make the call, turn off the phone, go to sleep. Small actions create evidence, and evidence changes the way you see yourself. This is important. If you constantly tell yourself you're undisciplined, start giving yourself evidence that you're disciplined. Make one promise to yourself. Keep it. Then another. Keep it. Wake up when you said you would. Do the workout you promised. Finish the task. Put the phone away. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-trust grows. And self-trust is one of the best weapons against negative thinking, because when you trust yourself, you don't need certainty about everything. You know that even if something goes wrong, you'll handle it. That's real confidence. Not believing nothing will ever go wrong. Believing you'll be able to respond when it does. So stop trying to build a life where nothing difficult happens. Build yourself into someone who can handle difficult things. That's a much stronger goal. And don't underestimate the effect of your environment. If you're surrounded by people who constantly complain, eventually complaining feels normal. If you're surrounded by people who mock ambition, eventually ambition feels embarrassing. If you're surrounded by people who make excuses, eventually excuses sound reasonable. Your environment teaches you what is normal. So be intentional. Spend time with people who challenge you in healthy ways. People who tell you the truth. People who want to see you improve. People who don't need you to stay small so they can feel comfortable. You don't need hundreds of people. A few good influences can make a huge difference. And sometimes you need distance from people who constantly drain your mind. Not because they're evil, not because you hate them, but because you are responsible for what you allow to dominate your mental space. Protect your peace and protect your attention. Because attention is one of the most valuable things you have. Every hour you spend obsessing over someone else's opinion is an hour you didn't spend building your own life. Every hour spent replaying an argument is an hour you could have spent learning. Every hour spent comparing yourself is an hour you could have spent improving. Every hour spent worrying about what might happen is an hour you could have spent preparing for what actually matters. Your attention is your life. Spend it carefully. And here's something that can immediately reduce negative thinking. Move your body. Sometimes your mind is trapped because you've been sitting in the same position, staring at the same screen, thinking the same thought for 3 hours. Get up, walk, stretch, exercise, go outside, change your environment. Your physical state can influence your mental state. You don't need to solve your entire life while sitting in the same chair. Sometimes movement creates enough distance for your mind to breathe. And don't forget sleep. A tired mind can make small problems feel enormous. When you're exhausted, everything feels harder. Your patience decreases, your emotional control decreases, your ability to think clearly decreases. So stop glorifying exhaustion. Rest, sleep, recover. You don't become stronger by constantly destroying your energy. You become stronger by knowing when to push and when to recover. And if negative thinking has become constant, overwhelming, or difficult to manage, talking to a qualified mental health professional can be a strong and practical step. You don't have to handle everything alone. Strength isn't refusing help. Strength is knowing when help is useful. Now let's talk about the past. Your past will sometimes try to convince you that your future must look the same. Maybe you failed before, maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe you made terrible choices. Maybe you wasted years. Maybe you weren't disciplined. Maybe you hurt someone. Maybe someone hurt you. Your mind may say, see, this is who you are. No, that is who you were in that moment. You can learn, you can change, you can become more aware. You can build new habits. You can make different choices. Don't let yesterday become a prophecy. Your past can explain you. It doesn't have to control you. And if you made mistakes, take responsibility. Don't hide from them, but don't worship them either. Learn the lesson and move forward. You don't need to punish yourself forever to prove that you regret something. Sometimes the best apology to your future is to become different. Become more disciplined, more honest, more patient, more thoughtful, more responsible. That's growth. And there will be days when you fall back into old thinking. Don't panic. Progress isn't a straight line. You may spend weeks becoming more positive. Then one difficult day brings old thoughts back. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. Notice it. Correct it. Continue. Don't turn one bad day into a bad month because you decided, well, I've already messed up. That's another form of negative thinking. You missed one workout, do the next one. You wasted one morning, use the afternoon. You made a mistake, correct it. You lost your temper, apologize. You procrastinated? Start now. Never underestimate the power of starting again immediately. You don't have to wait until Monday. You don't need a new month. You don't need January. You don't need the perfect moment. Start again now. And every morning, give your mind something better to work with. Before you reach for your phone, give yourself a few quiet minutes. Ask, what matters today? What can I control? What is one thing I need to accomplish? What kind of person do I want to be today? Then move. Don't spend the first hour of your day consuming everyone else's life. Build your own. And throughout the day, catch yourself when your mind starts spiraling. Don't say, here we go again. I'm terrible at this. Say, I'm noticing that I'm overthinking. That small change matters. You're not labeling yourself, you're observing a behavior. And behaviors can change. Instead of saying, I'm negative, say, I'm having a negative thought. Instead of, I'm anxious. You can say, I'm feeling anxious right now. Instead of, I'm a failure. Say, I experienced a setback. Language creates distance. Distance creates choice. Choice creates control. And control creates change. So start becoming your own mental coach. When your mind says, you can't, ask, what would make this possible? When it says, it's too hard, ask, what is the next small step? When it says, you don't know enough, say, then I'll learn. When it says, you're too late, say, then today matters even more. When it says, everyone is ahead, say, I'm responsible for my own path. When it says, what if I fail? Say, what if I learn? That is how you retrain your thinking. Not by pretending, by questioning, by acting, by gathering new evidence, by repeating better patterns until they become familiar. Your brain learns through repetition. So repeat courage, repeat discipline, repeat patience, repeat gratitude, repeat action, repeat self-respect, repeat perspective. Eventually these responses become more natural. And one day you'll catch yourself in a situation that used to destroy your peace. Someone criticizes you. You don't spiral. You don't spend the whole night thinking about it. You listen. You take what's useful. You let the rest go. You'll face a setback. Instead of saying, my life is over, you'll say, okay, what's next? You'll experience rejection. Instead of, I'm not good enough, You'll say, this wasn't the right opportunity. You'll make a mistake. Instead of destroying yourself mentally, you'll learn. That's growth. Not becoming someone who never struggles. Becoming someone who knows how to respond when they do. So kill your negative thinking. Not by destroying every negative thought, but by refusing to let negative thoughts become your identity. Kill the habit of expecting the worst. Kill the habit of assuming what people think. Kill the habit of comparing your life to everyone else's. Kill the habit of replaying old mistakes. Kill the habit of predicting failure. Kill the habit of calling yourself names. Kill the habit of turning one bad moment into an entire bad life. Kill the habit of waiting until you feel confident. Kill the habit of letting fear make every decision. And replace those habits with something stronger. Reality, perspective, action, patience, discipline, self-respect, learning, growth. You don't need to become positive every second. You need to become powerful enough to think clearly when life isn't positive. That's the goal. Because life will test you. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Opportunities will disappear. Things will not always go according to plan. And when that happens, your greatest advantage won't be having a perfect life. It will be having a mind that doesn't immediately turn every problem into a catastrophe. You'll breathe, you'll think, you'll assess, you'll adapt, and you'll continue. That's mental strength. So tomorrow morning, when that negative voice wakes up before you do, don't automatically believe it. Listen, question it, then choose your response. Tell yourself, I don't have to believe every thought I think. I don't have to predict the worst. I can handle one problem at a time. I can learn what I don't know. I can start again. And then get up, move, work, build, learn, live. Because your life is too valuable to spend it fighting imaginary battles inside your own head. You have goals waiting for your attention. People who love you need your presence. Opportunities need your courage. Your future needs your effort. Stop giving all of that energy to thoughts that haven't even happened. Come back to today. Today is real. This moment is real. This decision is real. Use it. And remember, your mind is a powerful place. Don't let it become a prison. Train it, challenge it, protect it, feed it better ideas, give it better questions, give it better experiences. And when negativity comes knocking, you don't have to open the door. You can acknowledge it. Then keep walking. Because you are not every thought that crosses your mind. You are the person who decides which thoughts become beliefs, which beliefs become actions, and which actions become your lives. So choose carefully, think better. Speak better to yourself. Act despite fear, and keep moving forward. The old voice may still appear. Let it. You don't have to fight every thought. You just have to stop obeying the ones that keep you small. Your mind can be trained. Your habits can change. Your confidence can grow. Your perspective can improve. Your future can be different. But it starts with one decision. I will no longer let negative thinking decide what I'm capable of. From today, you think, you question, you choose, you act, and you move forward. Not because everything will always be easy, but because you finally decided that a difficult moment will never again be allowed to define your entire life.